This show was made possible with the continued support of the MEO Media affiliates. Hello affiliates, J. Todd here at the Global Gaming Expo in Las Vegas, Nevada. Yes, last week I was in Lisbon. This week I am here in Las Vegas. Jet lagged and extremely tired, but hey, that's how committed I am to you, my friends, the affiliates, and those working for the affiliate programs. We're going to have Gary Trask on in just a minute, GPWA. Gary, I think that's his handle in the forums. He's the chief editor of Casino City Times. Usually when I do these shows, he comes on as my guest and we discuss the latest news that was happening here at the show, things that are going to be pertaining to our industry over the next year. And with that in mind, I have behind me the latest edition of the GPWA Times. And right here in the middle, our friend Gary actually traveled to Barcelona recently and did a preview of the upcoming Barcelona show, the IGB show, which is going to be taking place in January. That'll be the first time that has happened. Also on the cover here, we have an article about sweepstakes. And interestingly enough, I just did an interview with Income Access, and that's going to be out in the next month or so, hopefully, about the growing sweepstakes industry here in America and how that pertains to affiliates. So got my little cheat sheet right here because I don't have my script, so that's just how it is. Next week, I'm going to be back out in the wilderness of the Northwest, and I'll be doing covering a story on the growing UK black market. Now this is going to be fun because you might recall that for the past couple of years, every time the UK GC did one of their little crap moves, I said, hey, you're going to be contributing to the growing black market. People are going to move away from regulated sites into the black market because they don't want to give up their personal financial information just to play an online slot. And by gum, it's happening. Of course, I'm sure the UK GC will have some grandiose excuse about how this is not really their fault or the numbers are skewed or whatever else, but we all know it's a bunch of bullcrap. Now, if we're going to close out the first half here by saying that if you're interested in more international news that I don't have time to get into right now, there are some wonderful threads in the GPWA forums on Sweden, France, and the Brazilian market, so you might want to get over and check those out. Here's our break. When we come back, I'm going to be with Gary Trask. Are you ready now?
Yes.
You're good to go?
Good to go.
Hello, friends, and welcome back. I'm here with Pulitzer Prize-winning author Gary Trask. Gary, you write for a very prolific magazine, the GPWA Times, and we're going to talk about that article in just a moment. But first, you were at the implosion the other night. I was in bed asleep. It did wake me up. How much asbestos did you inhale?
Luckily, I've drank a lot of alcohol this week, so that's killing any diseases that I might come up with. But I was at the foundation room at the Mandalay Bay, so we were a good distance away. So didn't get any dust on us. There was no masks involved. It was fun. I wasn't going to do it. I was exhausted. And then it turned around midnight, and it's like, you know what? A couple more hours. What's a couple hours of losing sleep going to do? So I've never seen an implosion, so it's pretty cool. I'm glad I went.
Well, you're like me. You're an old man. I was like, it's coming up on 10. Sleep is very important to me. But I went to sleep, and then all of a sudden, I got woke up. It sounded like fireworks going off. I looked over the clock. It was 2:37. I was like, aha, that's that. So I'm glad that you got enough alcohol in you to kill all the carcinogens that you might have been inhaling.
We may not see another implosion for a long time, from what I read. Yeah, I'm glad I went. It's a once in a lifetime thing, I guess.
Yeah, if I was going to pick another one to go, Circus would be at the top. But hey, we still love you. We still love you.
Been in the steakhouse, the Circus?
Don't they use horse meat?
No, it's fantastic. Trust me on that one.
All right, well, now you know. Let's talk about this article that you wrote here where you're previewing the Barcelona event. Yeah.
Yeah, so in June, Clarion was nice enough to invite some journalists, including myself, out to preview the new venue in the new city for ICE. And we wrote about it in the new issue of GPW Times Magazine. I was talking to Stuart Hunter the other day, the director of Clarion Gaming, and there seems to be a lot of excitement about moving to a new venue. I think at first people were kind of cautious about making the move, and as you know, people don't like change. But I think a new city is going to really energize it. The weather, I don't want to jinx it, but it should be much better than what we get in London.
Hold on. It's hard to beat London in January, let's just be honest.
Yeah, that raw, rainy weather is clouds and no sun. That's so that should be a change. The venue is spectacular. It's mammoth. They are going to have halls set up with different areas like they did at Lisbon for SBC, which I think got mixed results. I don't know about you, but I think I've heard that it's mixed results whether you want zones, all the media here, all the affiliates here, but they're going to go with that. But it's a 5-year contract with Barcelona. They're hoping that by the end of the 5-year contract that attendance will double between what they got last year in London. So over 100,000 they're hoping will be the attendance within 5 years.
100,000?
That's what they're projecting. So I think it's going to be exciting. I think it's going to be, it's a lot easier to maneuver. It's not an hour from the airport. It's about 15 minutes from the airport, which is a big difference in London. And so I'm still looking forward to it, and I was happy to get out. And Barcelona is a great city, man. I had never been there before, and if you like to drink and eat like I do, it's fantastic.
I know you're not an affiliate, but you're sounding a lot like an affiliate. Let's move along so we don't have a 25-minute video and talk about this sweepstakes thing. Now, like I mentioned in the first half of the show, I interviewed Income Access, and they were talking about this very thing, the sweepstakes stuff, as far as it relates to affiliates now.
Yeah, well, I don't want to take all the credit because Erica Anderson from Income Access wrote the cover story for us about sweepstakes casinos, and that has definitely been the talk of G2E this week. There's a lot of scrutiny. People are calling it the land of opportunity. They're comparing it to the early days of DFS. And I've talked to a lot of people this week about it, and there's mixed opinions. It's really split down the middle about what's going to happen with casino sweepstakes, the whole model, whether it's legal. Daniel Wallach, the gaming attorney, he wrote an incredible thread that it would take us an hour to read. But if you're trying to figure out what's going on with the casino sweepstakes, read that thread from Daniel Wallach. He's talking about he doesn't think it's going to last. He says the courts are not going to be fooled by this gimmick. He called it a gimmick. Another great follow on LinkedIn is Howard Glazer from Light and Wonder. He was on a session yesterday talking about it, and he did a kind of a whole demonstration about how they say it's not gambling, but it really is gambling because people are risking money to win money. That's the bottom line. I've talked to people who think it's going to be shut down within 2 years. I've talked to people this week who I really respect that say it's going to take probably over 5 years to shut it down. But it's definitely, we put in the article, I think it's $44 billion they're projecting for revenues for sweepstake models in 2025. That's a lot of money, and as you know, people see the chance to make money, they're going to go after it, whether it's a gray area or not.
You could not be more correct. Now you're really sounding like an affiliate. Another part of that interview with Income Access was the changing face of the affiliate industry here in America. They were telling me that they see more and more programs now opening up and warming up to revenue share.
Well, that's obviously music to the affiliates' ears, right? we'll see if it happens. I mean, the U.S. is just a whole different animal, as you know. I mean, every state is so different. And, you know, we'll probably never see a federal law. So I think pushing that stuff through takes time. And hopefully, for affiliates' sake, it does happen.
Yeah, you know, we'll put a cherry on top of this by circling back around to the sweepstakes thing. And I can't help but be reminded, listening to you speak, of how it was with online poker originally. There's a lot of gray area with that because, like with tribal gaming, they have the rights to, say, electronic gaming, where the card rooms in California had rights to card rooms or in card games. But then when you start talking about poker online, is it a card game? Is it a digital game? Who has the right to do it? And also, just the gambling laws in general change from state to state to state. In some states, there's wording like a preponderance of luck involved, which is very ambiguous, deliberately. And then there's other states where any game with any dice or any cards, it's gambling. So again, it's going to be a bit convoluted.
Yeah, and I think the attention that it's receiving is not good for it. It's like going back to the DFS comparison. You remember when DFS and all those commercials were in, and everyone was like, what is this DFS and why is it being thrown in my face? And all of a sudden the lawsuit started. I think all the attention sweepstakes models is getting, especially here in Las Vegas this week. And I think yesterday WorldPlay, a social casino operator, was class action suit down in Florida. So it's going to start, it's already snowballing. So the attention's not good for it.
No, and to close the show out, it's the same thing that the online poker rooms did back in like 2005, 2006, when as an affiliate making money off of online poker, I'm seeing them advertise on late night TV going, stop it, stop it. But the competition demands that if your competitor does it, then you do it. And then again, you're right, it just snowballs into negative publicity for our industry.
That's right. So it's going to be interesting to watch for sure.
Yep. Gary, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on with me.
Looking great, as usual. Making me look bad.
No, that's a fantastic shirt. I wear these jackets so people don't pay attention to my face.